Hello, everybody. It's Cinemondo, and I'm here with Ashmita. I said
Hello.
that right?
Yes, you did. You did.
I'm so glad you're here. I love your channel. You got so much enthusiasm, and I love that. I love that. I
Thank
loved
you
when
so
you
much.
did the review of what's the oh, now I can't remember. I'm going to say this now. The one that has all the great CGI that just came out. It was like a teaser, and it had come right after the really bad one. So everybody was kind of waiting for this movie. I think it was called, what was it called? But you played
Hanuman movie?
maybe
Hanuman?
that was
the
it.
teaser
Hanuman.
of Oh,
And so
Hanuman,
you watched
yeah.
it and you went, I have to stop this and rewind it and watch this part again. Like I loved that you just I'm watching this again.
Yes.
It was so good. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan. I love your channel. I'm so excited you're here because I want to get your views on this movie, Jana Gana Mana, which I think
Yes.
it needs a female point of view, I think, because it's about a murder. That's the crux, the main crux of the film is investigating this murder, but it becomes a much bigger story and everything kind of goes crazy. So I wanted to review that with you because you have a lot of more insight into the culture, and it'd be interesting just to hear your point of view on that. But we're still going to have fun. It doesn't have to be, all that.
Yes, it'll be a fun conversation.
It will be fun.
And Jana Gana Mana is my favorite film of last year. So any discussion regarding that film, I jump right into it because I love talking about that movie.
It was so good. It was like epic.
Amazing.
Like I was going, okay, it's a crime movie, whatever, and just boom, 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 it just got bigger and bigger, and it was super glossy and exciting and so sophisticated. I thought it was incredible. Twists were like, what? Like I've seen so many movies, so when a movie makes me go, what? Like that's good to me. So good. So I just wanted to run the trailer real quick. This is like kind of an informal trailer refresher. So if you guys want to see our trailer reaction, you can see on both of our channels. I'm sure we have plenty of Jana Gana Mana in content. I just like saying it, Jana Gana Mana. What does that mean?
So it means, we the people.
We the people. Okay. I'm going to run this trailer real quick, and then we're going to discuss this movie and get into it. Okay, here we go.
It's such a long trailer.
It is
I remember.
Yeah. There's a lot of movie.
இங்க யாரும் ஒண்ணும் பேச மாட்டாங்க. நீங்க பாருங்க, சாப்பிடாத யாராவது இருந்தா போய் சாப்பிட்டு வந்துருங்க. ஐயா சாப்பிட்டுட்டு இருக்காரு. சார் உள்ள வாங்க சார், ஐயா கூப்பிடுறாரு.
There was so much discussion after this trailer. It was very interesting.
Candy இருக்கு. சாப்பாடு கிட்ட.
சரியா எனக்கு.
I love the trailer that starts with a long scene.
Yeah.
Not just clips, and you're kind of in the story.
அடடா. வாங்க சார். உட்காருங்க.
Watching it after so long feels amazing to watch the trailer again.
I know exactly.
என்ன சாப்பிட்டாச்சா? ஏதாவது ஆர்டர் பண்றேன், சாப்பிடுறீங்களா? ஓ, ஆளே மாறிட்டு இருக்கீங்க?
The music's so sad.
போலீஸ் மர்தனத்தில் பறிக்கட்டினால் சிகிச்சைக்காய் தன சகாயம் வேணும்னு. இதெல்லாம் ஒரு சின்ன மேட்ரு தான் சார். முடிச்சிடலாம், ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லை. அன்னைக்கே சொன்னேன் இல்லை தம்பி, இதெல்லாம் வேணான்னு. இப்போ என்னாச்சு? உன்னுடைய ஃபேமிலி, உன்னுடைய கேரியர், இதெல்லாம் நீ ஏன் கற்றுக்கிட்ட?
എന്തൊക്കെ ചെയ്തിട്ട് എന്താണ് അവസാനവന്മാരുടെ
இந்த நீதி, நேர்மை, நியாயம் இதையே பேசிட்டு இருக்க சில முட்டாங்க இருக்காங்க. ஆனா உனக்குன்னு ஒரு பிரச்சனை வந்தா ஒருத்தன் கூட உன் பக்கத்துல நிக்க மாட்டான். நீ இது என்ன பார நினைக்க வேண்டி சோதிக்கான்.
That's such a sad statement, but also true.
Yeah, exactly.
सच बोलेंगे तो हम तुम्हें बचा सकते हैं.
മീഡിയ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നോ? കോടതി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നോ?
என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்?
She deserves justice.
എന്തിന്? ജനങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നോ?
ഞങ്ങൾ പോലീസുകാർക്കും വേണ്ടപ്പെട്ടവരും കുടുംബമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. So kindly understand our situation too.
அதுக்கு காரணம் என்ன தெரியுமா உனக்கு?
தெரியும் சார்.
ഇവിടെ നോട്ട് നിരോധിക്കും.
He's so sad.
വേണ്ടി വന്ന വോട്ട് നിരോധിക്കും.
And by this point, I was like, my heart was breaking for him so much.
കാരണം ഇത് ഇന്ത്യയല്ലേ.
And this is almost deceptive because the movie is not low key and it's like very. It has its moments.
Sorry.
Everybody
And by
laughing
this
at it.
time, I had forgotten that I was watching a trailer because I was already into the scene so much.
I know. I keep thinking, am I watching the movie? Did I hit the wrong YouTube channel?
இனிமே நான் இருக்கல கூட எதுக்கு பயம்? தம்பி நீ தைரியமா போ. இனிமே நம்ம வரடா.
Don't worry.
Now the epic moment will come now.
Oh, whoa. So good.
It was so good. Like, oh.
So I just got chills. Like, oh.
I get chills after this. Just the music build up and the scene, his expression change.
Yeah, and then he's like, That's so good.
Oh. Like, I still got chills. So good.
So good. That smile. So good.
God, this movie. I'll probably watch it again after our.
I know. So good. So good.
I feel so privileged and honored that I could, interact with the director last year.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So there's one more channel called Filmcopath, and you should get them, in your discussions also, because they have great insights. They watch a lot of movies also.
Okay.
So they had actually contacted Dijo Jose Antony, and they knew that I loved this movie so much, and they kind of liked my review. So they said, we want to have this discussion with him, and like you said, we need like a woman's perspective on the film, and that. So like, please, would you join us, because you have reviewed the film, you have watched the film, you have your own opinion. And then so the interview is on their channel, and it was a great discussion, and he's really cool and chill.
That's cool.
Good guy.
Okay, so that's on your channel or their channel?
It's on their channel.
Okay, so we'll look for that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll
Yes.
definitely look for that. That's amazing. Yeah, it's always good to get a director's perspective, because sometimes I don't think they anticipate the audience reaction to something they think they're going to get from an audience, but they get something different or something deeper or But the thing that set this trailer apart, and this isn't really a trailer reaction, but the thing I liked about it, we kind of mentioned a little bit. It was like a little vignette story, and they didn't give you a ton of the movie, because I mean, an important part of the movie is not even in this. Like the main crux of the the film, but you get this great like sad moment. It builds and it builds. You're still, like you said, you feel like you're watching the movie, and then they have that great twist at the end. Like we have a little tiny short story. That was like, whoa.
Yeah, and it's so amazing. It's so amazing because this entire sequence is not part of the movie, because it's just a separate scene. And in retrospect, when you think about it, if you have watched the film, this is exactly how our reaction to the film was. That, okay, we are feeling sad. Okay, there's no justice that given to him, and this and that. And suddenly, when that blast happens, we are in shock, because he just walks away with so nonchalant, and he just walks away, and we are thinking, my God, we just got played. And that's the exact movie. We got played in the film. And so technically this was just the trailer is actually mirroring the film without giving out anything. So I feel that was so smart. And we asked the director this question, that it was a risk to put out such a big trailer, which is not really a trailer, it was a scene. And he said that at that time he knew the risk. Like he knew that either there's a 50% chance that people are going to love this kind of marketing, and 50% chance that people will be like confused, like, why have you put the scene if it's not part of the film? But it kind of worked, because I mean, this is one thing I would say for Malayalam cinema, is that you cannot guess the film with the trailer. And I've learned this after watching so many trailers, and then subsequently watching the film, and the trailer they really know how to cut their trailers. It's amazing.
So good. And it's also risky, because when you do that kind of a slow build, you risk losing the audience, but you're so instantly pulled into this guy's situation. Like, what's going on here? And I admire that they took a shot, because I can hear studio executives going, well, they're going to get bored. We got to cut it sooner. We need more information. We need some more of this and that. But they stuck with it, and they create a really, powerful moment that I think actually makes the movie look better than one of those quick cut trailers,
Correct.
Because there's a lot of great scenes in this movie they could easily put in there. Tons of action. That's one thing you don't realize, like how huge and action packed this thing is. There's so many.
Yeah, and true. And you know what? When the certain dialogues, it's so strategically thought, because in the dialogue, when the minister is saying, okay, where was the court? Where was the police? Where was the public? And these are the three things which are the main aspect of this film: the public support, how the public opinion changes, the media, the police, and everything gets mentioned by the minister. So there are like really seriously amazing hints. This trailer is the movie. This is a short version of the film, the summary of the film that you're going to watch. So I feel that it was very well done. It's one of the best trailer cuts that I have seen.
Great trailer. And if you told someone, hey, this is a great movie, watch this trailer, they'd be like, and okay, whatever, this is sad. And then they'd be like, what? And the minute that happens at the end and he does that smile, you're like, I'm watching this. There's no way I'm not watching this.
Exactly.
So we did watch it. And this movie, it is harsh. They have some shocking violence in it. And I think part of what made it so shocking is that you care about this woman, and there'll be some spoilers here. The professor, we're going to definitely use spoilers. You really cared about her. You didn't know who she was at first. There's a body they found.
True.
And then we're kind of going backwards a little bit. We get to go backwards in the story. We get to see how things are playing out. We're jumping around to protests. We're jumping around to political maneuvering. And like he said, cops, media, crowd. We've got all of this. It's like all of this is happening in the movie. Like, so that's pretty much, he explains the movie in those 3 words. It's like, that's basically
exactly.
So good. So so you meet this woman, and you start following her line and the pieces that fall into place to make what happens to her happen. And it's just when they're starting to get closer and closer to the murder, I was like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see what happens to this woman, because I care about her now, and it's going to be really shitty.
Yeah.
And they didn't hold back. It was brutal stuff.
It was brutal, and brutal in not in the visual representation kind of way where, it's a very brutally shown, there's a lot of blood and gore. No. But it just breaks your heart completely. It just goes to show that how a simple, because technically it was a revenge taken by that other professor, because he was scared that she's gonna reveal all his wrongdoings. And it was just a simple revenge that he wanted her out of the way. And how that thing, becomes a tool for a politician, a police to just create this entire national movement. I mean, it was just mind-boggling to me, firstly. But in the back of my mind, I was also thinking that it is possible. This could very well be the reality. This could very well be the reality. This the way we get manipulated, and there's so much information. People don't have time to fact check things. So people don't have time. But there's so much information coming in from literally all directions towards us. And how do we filter out what is right and what is wrong? So and people just move on. So one sensational story, and then people move on to the next one. So it was really heartbreaking to watch. It was brutal. And like you said, it was completely harsh. It's like a slap on our faces, and especially us as Indians, we felt it in we felt it in our souls.
Yes, we did. And it's also, there's that streak of misogyny that goes through a lot of films like this that, of course, this woman, part of the reason that this professor, I just read into this kind of stuff, the violence toward women, a lot of times because this professor felt like he was superior to her because she's a woman. And that was also a super huge insult to him, that she would be, a threat to him at all. And so he just felt like, I'm just got to get rid of her, and there was a lot of that. And, you almost can't talk about movies like this without thinking about the patriarchal system, and how even in the marketing, we didn't see any women in this trailer at all. And then when you see the marketing, tiny glimpse, in the little quick cut, there's like sort of and then they have the great female protester who becomes really central to the main thrust of the protests, and she's so badass. I loved that because you don't see that much either. Like even in American films, I'm not even saying Indian films. I mean, just it's really hard to get strong female characters in movies. I don't know why, but she was fantastic, and I loved how the movie was kind of like multiple movies. Like I thought it was one thing. Then it becomes another thing. Like you said, like first it's like, oh, we have a murder mystery. Then it's like, oh, wait, we have a political like espionage kind of movie. Oh, wait, we have a police corruption movie. We have so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and deeper. And you think you're on this one guy's side, and then your allegiances change as the story unfolds. You're starting to doubt who you're supposed to trust anymore. And I thought that was so genius. And that's why at the end, amazing. Yeah, that's why when you find
because I say this in my review also when the film released, that this movie is really not a movie, it's also a social experiment.
Yeah.
And because the way the opinions shift of the people who are part of the system in the movie, we sitting in the theater, our opinions are also shifting because first we are on the police's side. We are on we want that he should get justice, and we are happy that he did that encounter. Because justice served. And then slowly when the courtroom drama happens, I am questioning my beliefs. I'm like, what is going on? What is right? What is wrong? Because the movie, the director kind of hits both the sides. If you talk about a leftist point of view or the right side, the conservative side, so it's kind of questioning both the sides. It's not leaning towards it, and it's so difficult to create that balance in that film because unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know how to tag it, everything kind of is seen through that lens nowadays with is which kind of side it's serving, which side the movie is serving. So I was questioning my beliefs, and I was like, how the hell did I just get played? I got played. And then when I was walking out of the theater, I said, I have never experienced something like this. I mean, yes, I've seen thriller films where the killer gets revealed, and I have been shocked. But this time, like my core was shell shocked, and I was like, this movie probably will not get dethroned as my favorite movie of the year, and it did not, because when I did my ranking of the top 10 Indian films, Jana Gana Mana was number one for me still.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I did a ranking of just multiple Western and Indian films, and it was right barely almost going into the top 10. I couldn't decide, and I kept thinking different things, like little indie films should get more attention and that kind of stuff. But if I was doing just a top 10 Indian film, it for sure would be in there. Like there's no way it would, because it was so accomplished and so confident. And it also, what I liked about it too, because we've all seen courtroom dramas. We've all seen thrills like that. The courtroom stuff was so smart, and you hear them starting to say stuff to make you doubt the story. You're like, I don't know about this. You're just trying to trick me into believing something that's courtroom trickery. And then as you're listening, you go, oh wait, this isn't a trick. This is really bad. this is really bad. It's not good. And the police in Indian films are especially terrible. Like I'm watching it going, I'm sorry, but you guys, you're making the police look so bad all the time. It's like they're beating people. They're like, the beating is insane. But then I watched even a reality, what was it called? It was a reality show about India crime. It was like a reality crime show. And they showed the police, and they're interrogating this man, just going, if you don't tell me the truth, I'm going to beat you right now. Yeah. And all these guys are saying, I'm like, wow. And so when I see all these movies and this stuff is going on, I'm like, is this because we do this in America too, where we make the cops either look like heroes or like they're terrible, corrupt people. It's one or the other. So you're like, which one is it? I don't see too many movies from India yet that say the police are good
so the image of the police brutality, and it's not just the movies now. If you just pick up any movies of like 70s, 80s, if you just see, if the cop has to be shown in a bad light, it's always that extreme brutality that gets shown, and they always turn up late. So these are certain cliches that we still kind of follow. But then there are cop movies where the cop is like the superhero. So we get that balance. We get that balance a lot. So if you and like the proper commercial films like Singham, that kind of started like a cop universe in Bollywood. Right. So we get those movies where the cop is like one man show and I am just going to, you know, change the system. So that way, you know, we have the positive films also. But yes, you kind of see the pattern when you see the police brutality. But yeah, I have to admit there is a pattern. But I'm glad that we have cop movies where the cop is like the superhero. Sometimes not just the cop, is a superhero.
Sometimes they're appalled by the violence by their own, you know, office, and it's like, and I've even like I saw Drishyam, and the female cops are just as bad as all the male cops. In this one, it was all male cops, I think, pretty much, as far as I can remember. And that was the other thing in the marketing. Even the posters, it's all men. Like the women in the posters are super minimalized, so that they're making this like a man's story, even though I feel like all of the events are kind of set off by this one terrible thing that happened to this woman, and then is kept in everyone's periphery by other women. So we have the mother and we have the protester. So while they're making men's lives difficult, they're also exposing all the corruption.
That's such an interesting perspective, because I never thought of looking at the poster or the movie in that way. And you bringing in that perspective is like, okay, that could be another point of view, which I did not think of. So that's really interesting.
I watch them usually without really, like, I just go into it. I'm not like hyper feminist, but when you start realizing that the women are kind of just on the sidelines and they're either these objects of desire or the long suffering mother or, you know, the sister, it's like, when are we just gonna have a woman who's just badass and cool? Let's just have that happen. You know? So, and I'm not just Indian films. This is across the board, every film, you know, that happens all the time. It's always like the girlfriend, or, you know, they don't exist in their own universe. They're either a plot point for the men or they're just kind of a support character, you know. But in this movie, I appreciate that the side characters
in commercial cinema that happens. Yeah, in commercial cinema that really happens, that it's the love interest. But here I'm very glad that the student character, like, she was
so good,
badass. She was amazing,
so good. And even the professor, she was badass. Like, until, you know, and she was so threatening and so strong that a guy had to take her out. You know, it's like, that's how, you know, you gotta watch yourself. And that I thought was, you know, that's why I was so sad eventually when you start getting to know her character and how great she was and how independent. Like, she was a character I want to see. Then you're like, oh my God, she pays the price, right? So what happens. So we can take a quick look at the posters and I can show you what I'm talking about. Like, sometimes with the marketing, it's definitely male centric.
I would love to see, because like I said, I've never thought about that perspective, because when I looked at the poster, I'm like, okay, this is, you know, system versus justice. That's how I looked at it.
It's our two main characters.
Whose side are you on? Correct.
Exactly.
Correct. But like, I would love to know your analysis on that.
So in this, this poster, and I can tell you a little of the tech stuff too. So of course, this looks like a face-off between two men, which it kind of is. I mean, there's a few face-offs in the film. It's a lot more complex than just one-on-one, but they use shots from the film or from unit, which is photography that's shot while they're doing the film, because you can tell, because they're not looking at camera. The lighting is very different on both of them. They weren't in the same studio for a special shoot. They were definitely pulled, and they're more like really emotional. A lot of actors prefer this because they don't like to be in front of a camera on a seamless, you know, going, okay, now look really intense. They're like, it's like, you're an actor, do it. But a lot of them get super self-conscious in front of the camera, like all of us. So, but you can tell this is from the film, but the quality of the shots are pretty good. So you're getting some good, it's probably a close up the guy took during the shooting. But so we have the two men and we the people. So we have that. Then we go to some character cells. Oh, well, here we go. Oh, this is the character cell. We'll go to this other one first. So then we have the female character between them as the crux of the story, which she is. This was an accurate poster, I think. I mean, do you agree? This is because there's the two sides, but then there's this woman who kind of puts everything into action in a way.
Right.
And this one, but you know, when I look at this poster, I think she's a love interest. It's like, it's a soft lighting, and, you know, they have a little bit of the glow, so it looks a little romantic. So I'm not even, you know, if I didn't see the trailer, I wouldn't realize this was a thriller if I just looked at it.
It kind of makes her look like an angel also, like she was like
Yeah.
an angelic character, because
Yes.
her heart was like really pure that
It was.
way.
Yeah, and she was
Yeah.
purely innocent. I mean, she really was. I mean, there's just no
Correct.
reason. And then we have like this one. So this is going into the thriller aspect for sure. You see the torn
Yeah.
textures and the little flares. You know, I think I've used that stock shot
Ah.
before too. There's a lot of like flare. You know, the flare is a favorite trick. You'll see it in a lot of movies. It gives some action to
Right.
a scene that seems static. You know, if you didn't have that in
Right.
there, they would see these two guys standing in front of a window. It wouldn't be that exciting. But again, it's
Correct.
sort of face off. You agree?
Once again, yeah.
And then we get into some character cells. So this is why I brought in the women, because this is where you get them. So they do posters to show each woman. And a lot of these, there's some different languages. I've been showing a bunch of different posters here and there. Some are the
That's
official
fine.
Netflix, some are not. But so this is the character cells. So they did give us character cells, women in the character cells. We have her and we have like the protester who's so
Yeah.
great. I love her.
Gauri, yeah.
So they're like, there are women in this film. Just look at the character posters. And then let's see, did I get them? Oh, there's this one last poster. This is the only one I could find where it's all women.
Okay.
We don't even have dudes in this. So it's like
Right.
that is
Interesting, right?
yeah, it's really
Like even in the background, if you see, you get that newspaper article
yeah.
which is burned, then the
Mhm.
protest and the police and a lot of aspects. Like this gives a lot of information.
It does. And it's like, and this
Yeah.
one, you know, you get to see all the people surrounding her, like her support, you know, after her death.
Right.
It's like she's
Right.
got all these people supporting her and putting stuff into motion. I don't think they even expected, you know, the outcome they were putting into play, you know,
True.
setting these things in motion, which was so good. I mean, that's the double cross of taking those guys out into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was like,
Unexpected.
what?
Unexpected.
How's he coming back from this? I mean, there were witnesses, and okay, it was really trippy.
True.
We'll keep it vague, but you'll know it when you see it in the movie. So
Yeah.
ultimately,
But it's okay. I mean, the movie is last year film, so if we have to geek out on with spoilers, then we should.
we're
So,
geeking out on spoilers. I was like, you guys need to see the movie already. Guys, you should be
Yes,
watching a
yes.
review if you haven't seen the movie. Let's see the movie
True.
first. So anyway, I loved hearing your perspective on this film. If you have any last words, feel free. But it was so fun talking to you about this film, and I feel like I got
Same.
new insight into how you view it when you first saw it.
So I feel that, you know, when it's very interesting, because when we spoke to the director, when I watched the film, I was like, okay, you know what, there's so many real life incidents which happen in our country, which have been taken, like facts have been taken and converted into like a fictionalized story. And when we asked the director, okay, like what was the thought process, how did you come up with this concept, because
Right.
it's kind of genius.
Yeah.
So he said, you know what? And I never expected this answer from him. He said, I only made movies to just give entertainment. And there is another film, Hindi film, which I highly, highly recommend you to watch it, which is called, I don't know if you have watched it or not, Rang De Basanti. It's a Bollywood film. And
I will write that down.
it's again about the uprising kind of film, and it's amazing. It's a very commercial film. It was a blockbuster. I was in college when I had watched it. So that movie is a huge inspiration for the director.
Okay.
It impacted a lot. So it's very interesting to see that how you, if something that you have watched years back kind of stays with you and impacts you so much that, you know, you ended up making a movie like Jana Gana Mana, because he kept on bringing in that film again and again into the conversation.
Oh,
so it was very
interesting.
interesting for me to, you know, for me to know that, okay, I made this film for entertainment, but there were inspirations from there. So it is an entertaining movie, but it's very thought-provoking as well. So for me, it was heartbreaking to watch, because as much as, you know, we all love our country and there's so many positive things about India, but when I watch these movies, it's like, no, there's a reality check also that we really need to, you know, raise our voices, because nobody else is going to do it for you. If you want to see a change in the system, you have to be the change. Otherwise, in a democracy, it doesn't work any other way. Because we choose the government, and then if we make the wrong choice, we have to only face the brunt of it. So that's as simple as it is. So so I hope we all, like, the only positive thing that I can think that maybe after watching this film, there is this thought that no, we have to really have our own opinion, and because there's so misinformation around, we really cannot trust the media fully, trust the system fully. So first do your own fact checking, and then come into the opinion. Like, don't become so influenced by so many things around you that you just forget what your own opinion is. So
That's right.
I think that was the biggest lesson I learned after watching the film.
That's right. Jumping to conclusions is never good. It's like that.
Yes.
Yeah, we have that. It's probably the same there. Innocent until proven guilty. And a lot of people just want to jump. You're guilty just instantly without hearing the whole story. And this is a perfect example of the whole story is way different than what you think it is when you first start watching it. So very different.
Yeah.
It just spins around. It was like so good. So we highly recommend this movie. I know you guys seen all the flashy new ones that everyone's talked about. We all seen, RRR and Brahmastra and whatever. But this is one of these movies that might have gone under the radar a teeny bit. So if you guys have not seen it, we highly recommend you watch it.
Absolutely.
So it was so great having you here, and we're definitely gonna do this again. This was super fun.
Yes. Next one on my channel.
Yes. Tell me.
I'm inviting you on my channel.
Hit me up. I am happy to do it. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye. Good night for me.